All right, Shalom, Israel. We are the Isupk started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. This is the Tuesday night brotherhood class. So, we started a little early on some Tuesday. We had the library 101 East Central Boulevard, Orlando, downtown library. If anybody in the area want to come in, come join me. We good to go. Um, Today we got a good one. Today is a good one. And I just felt this like it should be talked about. Like the topic of today is never trust thy enemies. And this is very important because first you have to know that you, as a Black, Hispanic, and Native American, as the chosen people of the Lord, have enemies. The Lord knew this, Christ knew this, the prophets knew this. You have to know this today that you do have enemies. Everybody is not your friend. Everybody don't care for you. Everybody don't love you. And it's not a wrong thing to have enemies. Like Christ had enemies. You know what I'm saying? And he knew who his enemies was. When we came out of slavery in Egypt, all the nations were our enemies. We came out of we're still in slavery today. And that's the thing that people don't understand. Just because you're not picking cotton, it get your back whipped, doesn't mean you're not a slave. Because you're not free to do anything. You can't travel where you want to go. You can't move back and forth how you want to. You can't live in certain areas. You can't do none of that stuff. And you've been taught your history by the people that conquered you. You've been taught your history by your oppressor. So if you're walking around here thinking everybody on your side, thinking that people are for you, you're sadly mistaken. And all you got to do is to turn on the news every day in the inner cities and you can see who's your enemy. You can see how the people that you so-called are buddy with doesn't love you. So that's what tonight's class is going to be. First, you got to know who your enemies are. And second, you got to know not to trust your enemies because the Lord told us so. Now, y'all have beef in the streets, y'all have beef anywhere else, and you don't trust the people nowhere else. So what makes your oppressor so different? Nothing. The most high power of the Bible of Israel told you these to give you a forewarning. Because soon as you trust somebody that's not of your nation, you're going to have consequences and repercussions. And we're living out those repercussions of not following the Most High and not trusting our power and to trusting our adversaries and trusting our oppressors. So we're going to get into that today. And, we always go and we always bring out Hebrews 5 and 12 because that's just the appetizer of what we got going on. So I'm going to get that. Hebrews 5 and 12 says, for when the time that you ought to be teachers, you have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of God, and are become such as have need of milk and not of strong meat. This is saying, like we say this every week, every Monday, and I say it every Tuesday. You have to be taught by the men that's ordained to break down these scriptures. And the only men that are trained and ordained by the Most High Power to do that are the men of the ISUPK. Nobody else, nowhere else. You're not getting this from your Christian pastors. You're not getting it from the Muslim mosque. You're not getting it from nowhere else. So you have to be taught by the men of the ISUPK because we're the only one with the correct breakdowns of these scriptures. Now, when you go and you try to educate folks, you got to know what you're talking about. So if you don't know what you're talking about, like if you don't know how to break down these scriptures and what these scriptures are about, you can't be teaching nobody. You first have to get in class, relearn everything that you thought you knew, and study up under somebody's feet that knows what they're talking about. You can't go in and just start teaching some, open up these scriptures and start breaking down scriptures. That's just like saying somebody just um never did surgery and just start doing surgery on somebody. The outcome ain't gonna be good. And it's gonna be the same thing with these scriptures. You're gonna be leaning on your own understanding, which the Lord told us not to do. You're gonna break down the scriptures incorrectly. And first of all, you're not even being taught by the man that has the truth. So humble down, get in class, and learn. That's it. You ain't got to do nothing else but those three things. Relearn everything that your oppressor taught you, because he the one that taught you these scriptures, and he don't know the breakdown because it's not for him. It's not for anybody else but the Israelites. That's why they can't understand this. So before you want to be a teacher, you need to be a student. You need to be taught over. You need to have your mind reevaluated and broke down and built back up in righteousness. And then you need the early things. You don't need the meat. You need the milk. You need to know what tribe you come from, what commandments you need to keep, when are the high holy days, what not to eat, what not to wear, what not to do. Those things you need to know. That's the milk. Those things you need to study up on and refresh and study and show thyself approved, like the scriptures say. Because that's very important. You can lead somebody the wrong way, not knowing what you're talking about. So if you want to be a teacher, do like everybody else did. Get in class, put on all black, become a trooper, learn, ask questions, watch scripture breakdown, take your officer's test. If the Lord see fit to raise you up, he will raise you up. But don't go because don't go to the wide, to the broad way instead of going down the narrow straight path. Because that's what a lot of these other fake Israelite groups did. They didn't want to come down the straight path, they went elsewhere. But they look at our breakdowns and be in our classes and be asking our generals and captains and officers questions and taking our breakdowns and run with them. Don't do that. That's a coward move. Get in class, study, so you can be a teacher. But first, you have to be a student. You know what I'm saying? First, you got to learn how to deal with the people that are stiff necked and hard headed. They don't give a damn about what you got to say, really. You got to learn how to keep their attention, to break something simple down. Learn how to do those things before you can do anything else. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, just want to get that announcing over and done with. And like we're saying, never trust our enemies. Our enemies has got us so discombobulated in the world today, even by the way we think. Like they pinned us against each other so bad that a man and a woman can barely see eye to eye. Not let alone two men and two women. Like a man and a woman supposed to be together, they barely can see eye to eye. The man saying the woman ain't doing this. The woman said, well, she don't need to do this because the man ain't doing that. And who taught us this way of thinking? Who taught us to be divided? Our oppressors did. They know if they keep us divided, we cannot conquer the world. We cannot band together and do what's necessary for us to make a living. If he pinned the man against the woman and the woman against the man, that destroys families. That makes kids grow up without a father or have a woman raising a son. And that's totally wrong. The way people think nowadays, and I'm saying people, I'm talking about my people. I'm talking about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. The way we think nowadays is just the way the oppressor thinks. All the rap, all the so-called gangster rap is about killing a nigga, taking a nigga girl, robbing from her, stepping down on her, running down on her, chopping them down. And the woman's twerking, get a nigga for a bag, get him for his money, have sex with him for money. These things the oppressor taught you. You never used to be like that. Y'all trying to live these entertainers' lives. Y'all forgetting that they just entertainers. They don't live like that. Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, they married. Now they going through Cardi B going through a so-called breakup. Beyonce married when she told you better put a ring on it. To the left. She ain't moved Jay-Z to the left, but she telling you to do that. Sexy Red telling you to have unprotected sex. She done had gonorrhea so many times. That's who you model your thought process after? That's who you want to be like? All she care about shaking ass and getting people for bads and having unprotected sex, creating baby daddies. Your enemy taught you how to think like that. And we're going to prove that today. We're going to prove that you got enemies and you shouldn't trust them. Not one step of the way you should trust the people that oppressed you and enslaved you for over 500 years, that shoot you down in the streets. You get no justice. Just last year, the ending of last year, a sister was found hung on a tree, 3 blocks away from the downtown library. 2023, that happened at the end. People still being hung. And you trying to tell me that we don't have oppressors? I mean, we don't have enemies that hate your guts, that know who you are, know you are the chosen children of the Lord? You mean to tell me that's not accurate? That know your history? Hey, Shalom, Truth, what's going on?
Hey, Shalom, sir. Yabashim
Yeah, about some sharp bracket top.
So, the water for having the class a little early today. I was like,
Oh yeah, I do
please
it
let
every
us
other
not do it.
Tuesday. I do it every other Tuesday when I can
Can't,
get down to the library.
can't, sir. You can just Facebook message me, and I'll jump in with you. First thing, and I don't go sleep at like 4 or something. Then it's a little earlier for me, and then
Right,
I appreciate that, and you can have someone to rock with in class.
right. Most High in Christ, the water warrior. I appreciate it. Well, we was just talking
All
about
praise, sir.
today's class is never trust our enemies. And I was going over that, our enemies or our oppressors gave us these ways and these thought processes on how we are like trying to be the biggest drug dealer, the biggest criminal, the biggest gangster, and how we don't get along with our women. Like they taught us these personalities. Watching our oppressor is how we learn these things. The Lord told us to
Come,
love our neighbor as thyself, but you don't see no love going on in these streets, in our communities between blacks, Hispanics, and Native American. You know what I'm saying? I remember there was a time that blacks and Hispanics stood together, but once the oppressor started seeing
come.
that, they just separated us. Now you barely can see that. We're slowly but surely coming back, but it's it's like random scene. Like unless you in the hood and you like grew up in a mixed culture neighborhood, like where blacks and Hispanics live together, if they lived on one side of town and we lived on one side of town, you would never see them intermingle. And we're the same people. So the first scripture we're gonna get is Deuteronomy 28 and 48. And we're just gonna be bringing up scriptures to let people know that the Lord told us not to trust our enemies, and that you do have enemies, and they don't give a damn about you. You know what I'm saying? While we over here and let it be known that we're still in captivity. Shalom, Zakaya. Shalom, Trooper Yeshaya. Oh, that's you.
Council.
Salaki. Forgot. Just that quick. You know. Shalom, Sister Ramah. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all joining me early today. You know. So, well, yeah, we're going to bring it out that never forget that you as an Israelite have enemies. No matter how much they act like they're your friend, no matter how much they claim they love you, and how much they show you common courtesy, that's the least they can do after what they done put your ancestors through, what they putting you through. So just because they sugarcoat it, never trust them. And don't think that they don't, you know what I'm saying, exist. Because back in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s, our ancestors, our people knew that they had enemies. They knew who the enemy was. They stuck together. They stayed together. You know what I'm saying? So they knew.
Council.
Oh, just because they smile on your face don't mean they won't stab you in the back. So we're gonna get Deuteronomy 28 and 48. When you got it, go ahead. Well, you can read it.
Come. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 48. Wherefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in
Hey, you
hunger
know what?
and in
You know,
thirst.
you know what, Troop?
Come,
Start at 45. We're gonna get the
come.
reason why we get to 48. Why is that? Go ahead.
Come. This is this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and pursue thee and overtake thee till thou beest until thou be destroyed,
Right.
because
So what this is saying is that from Deuteronomy 28 and 15 on down, the Lord lists curses that was going to come upon the children of Israel because they did not hearken unto the Lord and to follow his commandments. And he was reading, and Moses wrote down all the curses that was going to happen to us if we did not. Prior to that, verse 28 and 1 through 15, uh, he lists all the blessings that we was going to have if we did follow. So you had the good and you had the bad. Now, some of these curses listed in these in Deuteronomy is you're gonna go through a certain thing. You're gonna certain things are gonna happen to you, but it's only gonna happen to you. It's not gonna happen to the people around about you. It's gonna happen to you. Go ahead. And he said they're gonna overtake thee till thou be destroyed. Like they're gonna pursue you. These curses are not gonna shy away from you. Go ahead.
Salaki, sir.
Go ahead.
You know, you know, sometimes like I don't know how it is in where you at, but sometimes here, not sometimes, but most of the time when when say for instance there's like you say these curses will pursue you and stuff. Usually when sometimes you get into predicament, maybe somebody gets in a predicament in the city and they have like a family in the countryside, and then they to get them, because it's hot here, so they would send them to the family in the countryside, maybe like in a different state or province, and come to find out the same thing happens there with you with that person, because these cases, it doesn't matter where you at. When these cases, pursue you, it really does pursue you. They send you away because you strung out on drugs, whatever the case might be. You end up in the countryside. Is even worse for you on that side. I just wanted to bring that up, sir.
Right. Like it's there. There's no escaping the Lord's judgment. Whatever His judgment is for you, you ain't gonna be able to escape it, no matter where you at. Just like we were over here, we haven't escaped the Lord's judgment yet.
Come,
Nobody can do it. When He has something for you, it's for you. Now He might have mercy on you, not to judge you right then, but that doesn't mean you have to pay for it. That doesn't mean it's not gonna come. You know what I'm saying?
come.
Go ahead.
Verse 45 in the middle, till thou beest destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he command thee,
Right.
which he command thee.
Right. Since you didn't keep the commandments, laws, and statutes, the Lord said curses are gonna fall upon you. Go ahead.
Verse 46, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
Just like I said earlier, only the children of Israel are gonna go through these. That's how we know who the children of Israel are. Because these curses, they're gonna be upon thee for a sign, for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. Meaning that even though we went through slavery 400 years ago, we're still feeling the effects of slavery right now today. 400, 500 years after. Nothing has changed. You know what I'm saying? That's how we know the blacks and the Hispanics and the Native American are the children of Israel. Look at what they go through. The barrios, the ghettos, and the reservations. Look at the hardship they go through. Look at everything look how they're being oppressed. Not even the East Indian man, the Taliban man, the terrorist people, they aren't even being oppressed like we're being oppressed. And they're going through it with America. China is going through it with America. But the Chinese people over in America are not being oppressed like how the black, Hispanic, and Native American man being oppressed. Because they are a sign and a wonder upon thy seed forever. Thus says the Lord of the Bible.
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 47, because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things.
Since you don't want to serve the power that brung you out of Egypt, that took you away from your enemies, that took you out of the land of oppression, that you don't want to serve him with gladness, joyfulness, and giving him thanks in all things. Since you don't want to do that, since you want to act like these laws, statutes, and commandments are so hard to do, why would you not want to do that when you've seen the great miracles that the Lord did in your face? But since you don't want to do that, read 48.
Khan, verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
Who?
Thou shalt serve thine enemies.
You should serve your friends.
Thine enemies.
Your so-called drinking buddy, the person you go out with all the time, the person that say they're your friend.
Thine enemies.
Who do we serve in the land of America?
Thine enemies.
Our oppressor is who?
Thine enemies.
The Lord said, therefore, since you want to serve me, your power, your Lord, your God, the living God of Israel, since you don't want to serve them, serve me, you're going to serve your enemies. The people that don't like you, the people that hate your gut, the people that will take you out in the moment of a day, the people that will put you in slavery for over 400 years. The Lord said, you're going to serve them. Go ahead.
Which the Lord shall send against thee.
Who sent them?
Which the Lord shall send against thee.
The Lord sent your enemies against you for your disobedience. Go ahead.
In hunger
You got to
and
be
thirst.
and hunger and thirst. You got to buy food. You got to go to the grocery stores to buy food that's not even Black, Hispanic owned. Got to go to Walmart. You got to pay for water that should be damn free. You got to pay for air. How the hell you pay for something that you can't see? How the hell you pay for air? You can't even come on. It rains. You can't even collect rainwater. That's a crime. Come on, man. And hunger and thirst. Go ahead.
And in nakedness.
And in nakedness, you got to buy your clothes from them. Any designer clothes you want to get, I don't even like designer clothes because I don't even know. Like they look tight. They look like women's clothes to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got to buy your clothes. You got to get, even if you want to make your own clothes, you still got to buy the garment, the materials from your oppressor, from your enemies. The Lord said your enemies in all of this: food, drink, clothing. Go ahead.
And in want of all things.
Man, anything that you want, anything that you desire, you gonna have to get it from your enemy. You have to serve your enemy to get it. It's not gonna come natural like it did before. You're not gonna be able to have sheep and take the wool and make things out of the wool. Get your meat from the goats and the cows and the lamb, because you're not even gonna be able to have land like that. They don't even want us buying land. They make it hard for you to own land because they want you to come to them. This is a curse. And want of all things, not some of the things, and everything that you want, you're gonna have to go to your enemy for it. You got to serve your enemy for it. Keep reading.
Kanawankan. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
He should put a yoke of iron on your neck. And this is so literal. Now, this is not just something that like a metaphor. If you can, anybody that's listening right now, if you got something free hand, just Google a yoke of iron. And the image that comes up, if you can find it, the image that comes up is gonna have a black man with a yoke of iron on his neck. Put a one in the chat if you Googled it. This is what the Lord is telling Moses that the children of Israel are going to go through, because he knew that we were going to be hard headed and stiff necked and want everything that we see that everybody else do. we want to do it too. We wanted to be followers instead of the leaders of the world. We wanted to follow the people that hate us, who the Lord took us from. Just like when we was in the wilderness and the Lord took us out of Egypt, what we did, we went back and made a golden idol. Look at that. For anybody that can see, he just Googled yoke of iron and that's what came up. You can't sit here and tell me that this Bible is not factual. You can't sit here and tell me that this Bible is not for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, written by blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Who else had that? Them fake Jews that have a yoke iron on their neck. Come on. That's a curse of not knowing who you are. They called a byword, you know what I'm saying? Everything but a child of God. Put a yoke of iron till he had destroyed thee, meaning destroyed you all the way, even taking your life or even destroying your mind. Go ahead, keep reading.
CHAANAK, verse 49. And the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou should not understand,
The Lord said
shalt not understand.
these people that he's gonna bring, he's gonna bring them from far. When we fled into the west coast of Africa, and that's what they trying to call us Africans because we live over there, we was fighting against those Hamites. We was fighting against those
Arabs,
Arabs, right? And then the Lord sent your oppressor from far. Where he came from? Spain, Portugal, England, as swift as the eagle. We all know who the eagle represents. It represents America. It represents the Roman Empire. Represents the Spanish Empire. These are your oppressors. These are your enemies. They didn't understand, y'all. We didn't understand the language that they spoke. We spoke Hebrew. They spoke English, Spanish, Portuguese, French. All these enemies the Lord sent because you didn't want to worship him with joyfulness and gladness and follow his directions, follow his laws, statutes, and commandments. Therefore, he created enemies for you. And he made us serve our enemies. Read verse 50 for me.
CHAANAK, verse 50. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young.
Meaning that these people are going to be so hideous and so evil and so violent, they ain't going to care about the old folks or the babies. And the Trail of Tears, where they march our native brothers to the west coast of America, they killed the young and the old. The old people that was sick and elderly and slowed them down, they killed them. And the women that was pregnant, they cut the babies out of their stomachs. They hung old men, fed our babies to alligators right here in Tampa, Florida, just to make shoes out of alligator skin. They didn't care about the young or the old. Your enemies did. Your oppressors. This is what the Lord said was going to happen. I'm not saying this. So don't take it like, oh, Canuck saying all this and that. No, we reading this out of the Bible. How come your pastor never taught you this? Why your pastor don't read from this on Sundays? Because he's serving his enemies and wanting all things. That's why. That's why you run up here running down up and down the street like you ain't got a care in the world. Like ain't nothing happening to you. Because you blinded by all the BS that they put before you. Social media, you worried about Cardi B and Offset relationship when you can't even get your shit together. You trying to be a baddie, but you don't even know how to cook.
Sure.
You want niggas to take you out all the time
God,
because you can't cook. You trying to call
like
yourself a
this.
real nigga, but you won't help a brother out. All you do is take from people that look like you, that's being oppressed. You ain't no real nigga.
God.
Go ahead, Wade.
So like this, and I just wanted to say, putting these sisters on game, like it's I don't know if but for me, I and I've spoken to many people about it, like many men about it. I don't know if you agree with me or not, but when a woman, right, especially if it's a woman you like, or it's a woman that you're involved with, meaning she's, maybe you're dating, or you're courting or something. There's nothing like you start looking. Hey, if a woman puts a plate in front of you, you're right, that she has cooked, automatically I start looking at her a different way. Every time my wife puts a plate, she puts the plate down in front of me. It's almost, I don't know if I can say on it's like, it's like, like it's like a turn on for me when she puts a plate down in front of me when she serves me in that kind of manner. And it's like, you're falling in love again. It's like, this it's you getting, it's like you feeling a whole new way about her when she serves you like that. And yeah, cancer. I just wanted to say, it's a different feeling when you know how to cook for a man, and you put that plate down in front of him, and he eats and he has something to drink. When she puts that plate down in front of me, I immediately feel a different kind of way. My spirit is lifted. You're feeling better. You just tell her, you know, I'll sort you out later. Something like that.
Yeah, nah, I get you. I get you damn right because that's a woman's nature. You're attracted to the tenderness
Ah,
and the things that she does as a female, as a woman's supposed to do. That's what you're attracted to. You know what I mean? And rightfully so. That just you know what I'm saying? Nature. You know what I mean? Her being feminine, you're attracted to that feminine.
nah,
You know what I'm saying? But when she being masculine, you're not attracted to that shit because that you on guard. You're like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Because that's just your nature. You know what I'm
that don't
saying?
count.
So it's in a woman's nature to want to serve her husband because the Lord put that in ease. Your desire should be towards your husband. Ye are the daughters of Eve. So that's in y'all DNA. Period. Whether you like it or not.
That don't count.
And a man will want a woman that sets a plate and his drink down before him. Not him have to go take you out all the time because you can't cook. And then when he take you to the cheesecake, you saying the cheesecake factory beneath you. I guess a stove and pots and pans beneath you too, huh? Your oppressor taught you that. Your oppressor taught you to buck up against your husband, buck up against a man that's willing to die for you, has to protect you, has to go out in the world, slave at the oppressor slavery every day, and come back home to a woman that doesn't respect him. Your oppressor taught you that. Your enemies taught you that.
That's right.
Taught you how to be like that. We're gonna give the woman power over the man, so that way that can cause confusion in the household. Mama taught the daddy like this, but daddy's supposed to be the man. That started way back in the plantations, where they would do horrific things to the husband in front of his family, in front of his wife and kids. Sister, what's her name? Quaraya said, Salakia, a lot of young women need to even learn how to cook in order to do this for their head. Damn right, sis. But who they gonna listen to? They not listening to their grandma. They're not listening to their mother because their mother didn't listen to their grandma. The grandma tired of raising her grandkids, her great grandbabies. The younger women want to listen to Sexy Red, Megan Thee Stallion. They want to live their lifestyle. They don't want to listen to the elders because the elders teaching you to go against society. They don't want to listen to the man or the Bible or the scriptures because it's telling you to go up against the masses, like the generals were saying last night. Grandma gonna teach you how to keep that man. How you think she stayed married 40 years? She gonna teach you how to keep a man, how to be in a woman's place, how to stay in your lane. And granddad taught the men how to be men.
Right.
Not no effeminate ass niggas, man. These soft ass niggas. Acting like women got women emotions. And they wonder why a lot of women like, and I'm not saying it right, but I wonder why a lot of women have to be rough because a lot of these men aren't masculine. They act like babies. Great granddad taught you how to be strong and take on things. He worked from sun up to sundown, took care of his family, stayed, stayed around. Shalom, Triple K, y'all. So now who's raising these kids? Social media, podcasts, rappers. They need men of the Lord to teach them that they have enemies and how to protect themselves and how to carry themselves out here, how to be raised up as a strong man, masculine man, God fearing man. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna drop that. Let me get Psalms 139 and 20.
Uh,
Want that
139 and 129. Slack it, I don't.
Psalms 139, verse 20.
Can't, sir. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 139, verse 20.
You can start at verse 19.
Can't, sir. Verse 19. Surely, surely thou wilt slay the wicked, O God. depart from me there, depart from me thereof, yea, bloody men.
Right. The Lord, David is saying the Lord gonna destroy, he gonna slay the wicked men, our oppressors, people that came up against us, people that shoot us down in the street. Depart from me, you bloody men, because that's all our oppressor know is bloodshed. He get off
Con,
on it. That was his blessing, be blessed with the sword. The oppressor is the number one killer in the world. You can't beat that man killing. You ain't got enough guns or ammo. They creating laser guns. The shit that you see on video games. You can't beat him at his own game. Not without the Lord's help. Read verse 20.
con, for they speak, for they speak against thee wickedly, and thine enemies take
Like
thy
who?
name in vain. Thine enemies take thy name in vain.
For they speak against thee wickedly. They saying there ain't no God. They saying the blacks, Hispanics, and the Native Americans aren't the children of Israel. They said Jesus Christ is a white man.
Right,
And thy enemies. The Lord has enemies. So what make you think that you don't have none? Ain't nobody boxing with the Lord, but he got enemies. People that hate his chosen people, he hate them. They take his name in vain, trying to say he don't exist. But he show us every day that he does. With these scriptures, he shows us every day that he's a living power. And his enemies, the same enemies you have, he has them too. So you can't sit here and tell me that we don't have enemies. That's why you can't trust your enemies. Never trust thy enemies. And you better know that you have them. Because if you don't,
right.
you lost. Read verse 21.
Con, verse 21. Do I do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee, and I'm not and I'm not I grieved with those that rise up against thee.
David said, do not I hate them, Lord, that hate thee? Don't I hate the same people that come up against you? I'm rocking with you, Lord. I'm with you. You my power. You saved me out of the hands of Goliath and out of the hands of Saul and out of the hands of the enemies that was round about me. I'm rocking with you. So anybody that hates you, I hate them too. Anybody that you hate, I hate. That anybody that rise up against you, I'm rocking with you. Your beef is my beef. And I know my beef is your
Right.
beef. Who you don't trust, I don't trust. This is King David saying this. Read verse 22.
Con, verse 22. I hate them with a perfect hatred. I count them mine enemies.
My enemies. David said, the hatred that I got for them is perfect in your sight. Nothing wrong with that. And I count them my enemies because they are your enemies. Even David knew. So why would I trust them? I hate them with a perfect hatred and I count them my enemies. Because what they did to your chosen people, you hate them too. And they haven't done this to everybody. They only done this to the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the 12 lost tribes of Israel. That's it. We're the only ones being shot down in the street. Look at what they're doing to our Isupk brothers at the border when this once was their land.
Right.
How they taking the land from the natives, but the natives been here. And they only put them on a small reservation where they don't even have clean running water. Tell us that. And you can't trust them because they made and broke so many treaties with the natives that they can't be trusted. Your oppressor cannot be trusted. I don't give a damn what day and age we in. Oh, that happened in the past, this and that. That shit is still happening now.
Right.
They cannot be trusted. And I don't trust them. All right, so we're gonna drop that. Let me see what it is. Let's get 55, the same chapter, Psalms. Let's get 55 and 20. Because this is like, we're about to, next week is the Lord's Passover. And we're about to celebrate when the Lord saved us from our enemies. So all these are refreshers to keep in your mind, to keep in your head, not to get too comfortable in this oppression, in this slavery. So whenever you got it, warrior, go ahead.
Come. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 55, verse 20. He hath put his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant.
This is the same thing we were just talking about. Over 100 and some peace treaty that they made with the our Native American brothers. And they haven't kept not now one. They don't keep none of their promises. So now you know that you can't trust them. He had put for his hands against such as be at peace with him. The natives taught them how to survive through the winter. Just think about if the natives would have never taught them how to survive, never taught them how to grow and hunt corn and how to fish, they would have died off. They was at peace with them and made a covenant with them. Then turned around and had a day of celebration for their slaughter, which they called it Thanksgiving. Where they slaved the Native American women and children and the men that took their stuff and burnt their houses and gave them blankets with smallpox. That was biological warfare that started way back in those times. They said every town that you go into, every village that you visit to, every village that you visit to, give thanks to the Lord for every man and every person that you kill. And to his lieutenants, he gave young girls to. Created pedophilia. Read verse 21.
Con, verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart.
The words
His
of his
words
mouth,
was
the words of his mouth in that contract was smoother than butter. Hey, Shalom, by you now. Yep, Mike Wallace, they keep up wickedness because that's all they know. The words of his mouth was smoother than butter. Oh yeah, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. But in the end, his whole time he was thinking of a way to kill the natives. Even the black, even the so-called equal rights movement with Origin Mike and them.
Con.
They was plotting on ways to benefit from that. Yeah, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna let you guys vote, we're gonna do all this, that, and that. And look what happened. We integrated into a burning house. War was in his heart. Keep reading.
Con. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
Even the peace treaties that they made with our native brothers was too good to be true because they were just leading them to the slaughter. They were just making them more comfortable to take down their guards to where they can unalive them in the end. That was the whole goal, to steal everything that they had from them to the point to where that they was issuing out land for them to stay on when they had the whole land. That's something that an enemy do. That's why they're telling you can't trust them. They were smooth, but don't think that it ain't war in their heart. Don't think that they not trying to get rid of you. Planned Parenthood, welfare, HUD, all of that is warfare to destroy the black family, the Hispanic family, the Native Indian family. Kick the man out of the house and we'll take care of you. You know what kind of damage that does to the children, to the woman? There's no protection. The scriptures say, of course, I'm paraphrasing, you got to bind the strong man up before you plunder his house. Meaning that you got to tie him up before you try to rob him. Because he going to fight. He going to protect what's in that household.
Right.
So if you take the man out of the household, who's to teach the son to be a man, to be a leader, to be masculine, to be a protector? Who's going to teach him that? How to deal with his emotions and not to be effeminate, not to be too emotional. Who's going to teach the young daughter how to be a woman, how to stay in her place, how to learn how to serve a man, how to learn how to be a good woman? The man is not there to teach all these things. And this is what you have today. I seen a Instagram video where this guy, you guys probably seen it too, where this guy was going around and asking sisters, which would you rather have? A broke man that has no finances, but is there in the house with his child, with his kid, or would you rather have a financial person that's financial stable, but not in the household, not there raising the kid? And do you know every single one of those females said they want a man that's not in the household? They just want the financial person. And I'm like, damn, they don't even care about raising kids. Like, yeah, the man ain't financially stable, but at least he's there. Broken home, I prefer. Yeah, they want a broken home. They want the check. They want to put the man on child support and just get the check. So now they look at their kids as nothing else but a check. Child said, want the child support over their children having a father in their life. Yeah. They don't give a damn about having a father in the child's life. They want the money. They let money raise their kids. And half of the time, damn right, sis. Half of the time, they're not even spending the money on the kid. It's supposed to be child support. Damn right, sis. Supporting the child, not getting your nails done or getting your hair done and shit. And then you started asking this man for stuff and get mad when he don't do it. Your enemies taught you that. Planned Parenthood, Margaret Singer. Her job was trying to get rid of you. The abortion clinics. Sadly, they are doing that. Your child say not buying a BBL with the child support. Good night. That's sadly what's going on because you trusted your oppressor that he was going to take care of you. I got rid of the man, so now they give you a place to live and they give you food stamps. But what about the children? The children are suffering because you trusted your enemies.
So
You
like
trusted your oppressor to be more than what your man could be. Somebody say, Slack, go ahead, boy.
Cancer. So like this, I'm just gonna switch over. I'm gonna just go out and switch over into with another device.
Yeah, go ahead, do your thing.
Come. The water.
Yeah, that's what I had about. Yeah, so that's what's happening. Um, Let me get Lamentations 4 and 18.
Come.
Whenever you got it, you go ahead.
4:18, you say that one?
Yeah, Lamentations 4 and 18.
Oh, okay, I just have a little trouble here with my.
Say again. Let's start at verse 17. You on mute, warrior. If you can hear me, you on mute.
This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 17. As for us, our eyes has yet failed for our vain help. In your watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
Right. You putting your trust in the same people that oppressed you. You thinking that your oppressor gonna help you out. He gonna save you out of whatever predicament that you in. He gonna bail you out, and everything gonna be all right. The same people that had your ancestors enslaved for 400, 500 years. The same people that choke you out, unalive you, kick in your door, shoot you in the chest while you eating ice cream, still kill you for selling Lucy cigarettes, kick your man out the house in order for you to have somewhere to stay. You looking for them for help. And the Lord said, it's in vain. Because this nation, this fierce nation with a fierce continent, they not gonna help you. They ain't gonna be able to save you. No matter how much you trust in them, no matter how much you trust their system, their government, their military, ain't none of that gonna help you because they not for you. So why would you trust them? Why would you look for them for help or to be saved? They too busy doing this. Read verse 18.
Con out of one con. Verse 18. They hunt our steps that we cannot go, Slaki, that we cannot go in our streets. Our end is near. Our days are fulfilled, for our end is come.
They wait on the corners in your neighborhood to see what kind of malice and evil they can do. The police presence is ever in the hood. We call them the hood. The Black, Hispanic, and Native American communities. They always there. Just so they can unalive you in the street. Just because they can have a reason to pull you over and say you had drugs in your car so they can do something evil towards you. Just like that video I know y'all seen where the police had the man in handcuffs, put him in the back seat, and he's such a, I can't say the word. He's so damn scary. He heard acorns dropping on the hood of the car and opened up fire on the man in the back seat, saying that he was shot. He wasn't even shot. They shoot in the back seat. The man in handcuffs, you just placed him in handcuffs. I'm pretty sure that they checked him before they put him in handcuffs. Now, how you go from that to saying that this guy is shooting at you from the backseat of a police car? I don't know about y'all, but I have been in the backseat of a police car. And ain't no damn way you shooting anything from there. So we supposed to trust their words that this guy was shooting at them? Come on, man. They hunt your steps. They're waiting for you to mess up. They're waiting for you to give them a reason to shoot you. And now they're so impatient that you don't even have to give them a reason no more. They come up with their own lies. So our end is near. The Lord, our King Yahushua, is coming back soon. But they trying to destroy as many as they can before their time is up. And their time is very short. And that's just the hard truth of it. Stop putting your trust in a nation that ain't gonna save you and that can't save you. You want your oppressor to be so good that they're never ever gonna be good. They're never ever gonna be righteous. What the Lord had made crooked, who can make straight? The Lord made them this way. Ain't nothing that you can do to change them. They have a perpetual hatred for you. And you need to understand, you can't trust them. No matter what they say. They made damn near $1 billion off y'all yesterday selling glasses to look at that goddamn eclipse. Now, it ain't no sin to look up at the eclipse, but go about your business. Don't be into all that Egyptology, worshiping, saying the moon god, sun god, this and that. That shit is a lie. That's not your culture. That's their culture. That's Egyptian culture. That ain't your culture. That ain't something we do. The sun and the moon is there for a purpose. It's not to be worshipped. How you worshiping the created more than the creator? Because your oppressor lied to you and told you these things. You know what I'm saying? So that where we at.
Verse 19, other one.
Go ahead.
Khan, verse 19. Our prosecutors are swifter than the eagles of the heaven.
There you go. There go that eagle. Go ahead.
They pursued us upon the mountains. They laid wait for us in the wilderness.
It's telling you. The people that persecuted us, they swift. They know how to get off on a murder case.
Right.
They know how to say, well, I was in fear for my life. They know how to get off or get, you know what I'm saying, minimum jail time for unaliving you. They know how to cry in the courtroom and sob and have the family members of the person they killed come and hug them. Have the judge get off the stand and come and caress their hair. Play the victim when they done victimize people.
Salakus.
Go ahead.
What is crazy is um, I watched that movie. What's that movie's name? The Book of Clarence.
Mm-hmm.
You see that scene in where the Edomite he throws the javelin in Barabbas, in the character Barabbas.
No, I haven't seen the movie.
Khan. So in the like Esau put stuff in movies for for a reason, sort of like, or they are allowed to put them stuff like that in the movie. And like in the movie, like just like you said, like they get off on a murder case just like that. In the movie is like when this cat is running, right, and he's running away from the cops, but this centurion is saying, he's afraid for his life. And he stands like this, when they stand like this holding the bulletproof vest. The centurion is standing like this, holding the armor, the body armor. And he's saying all these things like he's fearing for his life, and all this and that, while he wants to throw the javelin at the dude. And he does throw the javelin, and he does hit him like three times with three different javelins. And I was like watching this, and I was like, they have been doing this since the time of Rome, where they've been like what they are saying now, for fearing of their life and all this, like how they get off on a murder case and stuff like that. They've been doing it for 2,000 years. I don't want. And I
Right.
was sitting there just thinking, they've been doing this for a very long time.
The Bible say ain't nothing new up under the sun.
Cancer.
They been hating your guts. They been unaliving you unjustly and getting off. Say nothing new. If you would remember that you had enemies, you would understood what was going on. But since you don't remember and you don't think that everything is what the Lord said was what it was going to be, we have to reiterate that you are oppressed. You're not free, and you have enemies, and your enemies do not love you. So you cannot trust them. Go ahead, read let's get Limitations 5:5.
Khan. This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 5, verse 5. Our necks are under persecution. We labor and have no rest.
You gotta work damn near 40 hours in 2 days just to make a living here. Working for your persecutors. Persecutors, Salaki. Working for the people that persecute you, oppress you, you have to serve your enemies. These still curses. You can't, the only time that your oppressor is satisfied with you is when you working. You can't be chilling. You can't be trying to have a good time. You can't be enjoying yourself. You can't be doing nothing. Because here come a Karen telling you you can't swim over here. You can't be at this park. Or what are you doing here? But when you working, they smiling because they think that's all you is, a homeborn slave. That's your whole existence to them. It's the slave and to work and to serve them. And this is let's read verse 6. We're gonna go to
Khan.
we're gonna go all the way to 8.
Khan. We verse 6. We we have given the hand to the Egyptians and to the Assyrians to be satisfied with bread.
We have been in slavery to the Egyptians, to the Assyrians. We've been enslaved to both of these nations. And they have great gain with us being in their slavery. We lose everything. We lost everything to them. Read verse 7.
Verse 7. Our fathers have sinned and are not, and we have borne their iniquities.
And these curses shall be upon thy seed forever. We wasn't there in the wilderness when our forefathers got these laws, statutes, and commandments. We didn't break the laws. Our forefathers did. But we're bearing their iniquities. Because the Lord said he will put it on us to the third and fourth generation.
Right.
Because we turned whole Christians and forgot about our God and forgot about who we were. Forgot that we was Israel and we had the need to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments. Became whole Christians and didn't follow the Lord. So now we bearing the sins of our fathers. Like the Lord said, he will visit the iniquities of the father upon the son. Now you have to understand that all these are warning signs. All these are warnings to let us know that it's not what you've seen. Don't be complacent. Don't be comfortable. Don't think that everything is all good. Treat your oppressor like an enemy. Now, I'm not saying go and do harm to them, but I'm saying it's not to trust them. Don't try to be like them. Don't think
Right.
like them. Be who God intended for you to be. These are the things that you have to do. You have to separate yourself from this oppressor world, or you're going to fall in it. You have to learn who you are and come back to being a child of the Most High. From these 12 tribes of Israel. Because if you don't, it's gonna end bad for you. You'll have a rude awakening when you're gonna need some help and you're gonna turn to your oppressor and he's gonna kick you back down in the dirt. Just like verse 17 said, as for us, our eyes yet fell for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us. That's exactly what's going to happen to you. And you're going to be shocked because you're going to think we're all equal. Because you get to go in their restaurants and you get to sleep in their hotels and you get to punch their clock. So you thinking that everything is fine and dandy. You trusted in them to not unalive you when you get off or when you're driving home, not to pull you over and shoot you in your back. You trusting in your enemies. And the Lord told us never to trust our enemies on no occasion. Now, who you gonna believe? This wicked nation or your power? I know who I'm believing. If the Lord said it, I know it's true.
Right.
If the Lord told me not to do it, then I ain't doing it. I was never taught this ever until I came into the ISUPK. I didn't know half of this stuff. I thought it was just because I was black. When you lived in the hood, the ghetto, you used to being persecuted and oppressed. To the point to where it becomes normal, and that's an awful thing. Not knowing why. And it has something much more to do with just your color. All right, let's get Zechariah 11 and 15. I mean 11 and 5, my bad.
So Zechariah 11 and 5. You want me to start at 4 to 1?
Now you can start at 5.
Come. This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 11, verse 5. Whose oppressors slay them.
Read that again.
Whose oppressors slay them.
Possessors.
Salakia. Whose possessors slay them. And hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not.
Can't tell me this not talking about slavery. They bought us on auction blocks, slave auction blocks. Took us to their plantation and did whatever they wanted to do to us. Sell us, beat us, uh, sexual assault our women, our kids, sell us, or unalive us. Whose possessors slay them. Our oppressors slays us and hold themselves not guilty. Yeah, they unalive us, but they not guilty in their eyes, in the eyes of their government. This is nothing. They beat the murder rap damn near every time. It's just now recently that they started holding them accountable a little bit because it's getting out of hand. And they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. Our so-called black leaders, They don't give a damn about what happened to us in our community or what happened to
Right.
us, period. They're too busy being a slave to oppression, eating the crumbs off his table. They get rich off of you, off of your ideas, off of your ethnic background, off of your culture. They steal them and count them as their own. Patent your ideas and make millions off and don't give you a damn dime. Because they know that the so-called people that they put in position to be over us work for them. They don't give a damn about us. Long as they getting their money, all the time they show up is when they need to show up. To make it seem like they care about the community. But when we want justice, they're nowhere to be found. When we're bucking up against the system, they're trying to calm us down. Because their possessor tells them, send them out there. Hey, go. Them niggas a little rowdy over there, man. Go sweet talk them back to sleep.
Right.
Come up with something that'll take their mind off of what's going on. The hidden agenda. That's the thing that your enemy do. So how can you trust a people that was sent to destroy you? How can you? Why would you? You get 1 month a year to rekindle your history according to them. And that's the only time that you care about what they did to you. How can you ever put that in the back of your mind when you're still going through it today? Like, you can never erase what they have done and what they're still doing. So with that being said, how can you trust them?
Right.
To hold themselves accountable for the injustice and the wickedness that they do to you as a people. Like, how can you do that? The Lord God of the Bible tells you not to trust. This is not because of their skin. This is because of their crimes. They have yet to be held accountable. Oh, that happened in the past. 9/11 happened in the past, and they still make memorabilia about that. They
Right.
still want you to support that and remember, never forget. So why we have to forget about what they did to us? Why do we have to always forget? Why do we always have to do turn the other cheek to what they've done to us and what they still doing to? Why? And when you bring it to their face, they call you a racist. I hate them with perfect hatred, like King David did.
That's right.
Not because of what color y'all, because of the crime that they committed against my people, that they have not stood or held accountable for. And I'll never trust them. No one dare put my life in their hands. I'll put it in the Lord's hands like King David did. If I had to choose between putting my life in my enemy's hand and putting my life in the Lord's hand, I'm going to choose the Lord because I know the Lord going to have compassion. He might have a little bit of mercy on me. Our oppressor, the so-called white man, who is the devil that the Bible speaks of,
Right.
he don't know compassion. He don't know mercy. His mercy is putting a bullet in your head or your back because he's too coward to do it in front of you. That's what's going on. That's what our people need to be aware of. Though hand join in hand, the wicked should not be punished, should not escape punishment. Paraphrase.
Come.
Even though you want to join them so bad and be a part of what they got going on, the Lord got a judgment for them. And if you don't separate from them, you're going to be a part of that. And if you keep believing in the lies that they tell us, you're going to be even more destroyed.
Slack, sir.
Go ahead.
Slack, the other one. When the scripture where it says, "Envy now thou not the oppressor." I just
Mm-hmm.
wanted to ask, when it comes to Martin Luther King, right? Would you say that he was envying the oppressor?
Mm-hmm.
Come, sir.
You said did he used to say he was envying the oppressor?
Now, Slug, so what I'm asking is, because he wanted to integrate, I'm asking because he wanted to integrate, was it like he was envying the oppressor? That's why
That's
he wanted to
exactly what he
integrate.
was doing. He wanted to be like the so-called white man. He wanted to go to white movie theaters and sit in white restaurants and date white women freely without being persecuted or being talked about. That was his dream. Orgy Mike.
Slug, sir.
That's what he wanted. He was envying his oppressor. Yeah, he was.
Come.
Go ahead.
What's crazy is, every time I see maybe a speech of Martin Luther King, like I don't know, you watch that movie Buriko where Jamie Foxx and with Jamie Foxx is in.
Yeah, I've seen it before.
Counts. That scene where Jamie Foxx, does the little accent, does the impersonations.
Mm-hmm.
Like every time when I see a Martin Luther King speech, I think of that scene where he does the Martin Luther King impersonation, where he says longevity. Every time when I see a Martin Luther King speech, I see that. I hear I hear what Jamie Foxx says.
Yeah, I get you. I get you making a mockery out of him because he was a joke, man. He was a joke. He took everything that we had from us and gave it to our oppressor. And then when he realized that's what he did, they put a bullet in his head. Because what? Because he
Because you
trusted
would
his enemy.
come.
He trusted them so much that they put a bullet in his head. If he was for integration and nonviolent, why the hell did they shoot him in the head? You trust your oppressor, he gonna put a bullet in your damn head. Point blank, period. When you let your guard down and you turn your back on the Most High, don't be surprised that no help comes from the nation that was sent against you. Don't be surprised of the outcome of trusting your enemies. Because it's not going to be what you think. It's going to be way worse. And oppression maketh a wise man mad. Trust in the Lord, not your enemy. So with that, I'm gonna end the class. Y'all know it'd be short because we at the library. They kicking us out. I want to say a big water to Trooper Yeshaya for holding it down. Big water to everybody that's online that's rocking with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, subscribe, and share. You know what I'm saying? Passover coming up less than a week, y'all. It's gonna be so glorious and so righteous to be around y'all. Hope to see y'all. Hope to salute y'all and see y'all. You know what I'm saying? Hang out with y'all. You know what I'm saying? And just a big water to y'all, man. So you know what I'm saying? With that, we're gonna say shalom. And you know what I'm saying? Y'all keep in mind, man, we got enemies and don't trust them. And my enemy right now coming to tell me, oh, Sluggy, that ain't they sent the brother to do the dirty work. You know what I'm saying? So with that, man, I'm gonna say shalom. And you know what I'm saying? See y'all again. Y'all stay safe out there, man. And you know what I'm saying? Just um just you know what I'm saying, stick to it. Get in class, learn, and you know, rock out with us. ISUPK.com, Florida. Shalom.
Shalom.